together.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of control, I mean, that's really the only control you have as an actor in terms of how they're going to cut it. I mean, you can do, why not help them out, making your performance consistent and mean anything from coverage to coverage. That's really all you can do.
So you, from the point of view, in the sense, number one, like, jumping into the theater background, into the television aspect, what did you find for yourself the differences? Did you find the medium harder, easier, slower? Like, what was the difference between for you when you made that jump and decided to make that move?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's all psychological. I mean, I have told myself this, that I had trouble adjusting to the different medium coming into it at first. But
Okay.
luckily I met a teacher who taught me that Harry Master George, and I worked with him for about 30 years. I still, to this day, we talk, and he's in his early 90s now.
Okay.
And a wonderful teacher, and his basic premise is that it's all the same. It's all the same in terms of how you approach the work, and you adjust given the circumstances and the technical considerations. You adjust to meet them, but the basic work is all the same. It's just pretend, and you make it mean something to you, and you learn your lines, and you focus, and you concentrate, and that's you apply that to different things. But the difference, basically, this is what it boils down to: is you've just got, as a stage actor, it's just you and the audience.
Okay.
And the communion between the play
Okay.
and the audience.
Okay.
That's everybody else is gone. The director, there's no editor, there's no anything. It's you, and that's why they call it the actor's medium. Live theater.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't happen, on a film or television set. There's just too many other considerations, and you do it in such small pieces, usually.
Do you feel that there is, I guess you would say, when it comes to, let's just say, pressure, do you feel that there's more pressure in theater or in working in primetime and film?
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't, the pressure is all self-imposed anyway, I think. If you can work without stress and fear and anxiety and all that stuff, you're advanced. And if you can do that whatever you do, I mean, doesn't matter if you're doing this conversation that we're having right now, or
mm-hmm.
the work, or there are other pressures that you impose on yourself. I think it's all an inside job,
Okay. So, like, for you, in the sense, okay, so you eventually, you moved up the ranks in the sense of the film and television world, and you ended up landing an iconic show, Space Above and Beyond. Tell me how that came about for you, and what was for you the process in getting that role.
Well, first of all, to hear Glenn Morgan tell it, and this is the creator, co-creator, and writer of Space Above and Beyond, and we became fast friends and have been ever since.
Okay.
He's family to me. He just said, I walked into the room to audition and I sat in the wrong chair. And so it sort of threw them off, and they just couldn't stop thinking about that. And so that's why they ended up hiring me. So he kind of boils it down to something that had nothing to do with really anything to do with anything. But the truth of the matter is,
mm-hmm.
And certainly it was his ultimate decision, and the networks, let's face it.
Mm-hmm.
But my friend, Randy, and man, I'm having a senior moment. His last name just went out of my head. It'll come to me though.
Okay.
He was the casting director at the time who cast it.
Okay.
And he had seen me in a play. Speaking of plays, God, I hate that so bad.
Just call him Randy.
Yeah. So Randy came to see this play that I had done. In fact, it's a play that I met my wife in.
Oh, okay.
In 1988. And he had seen it, as he's told it, 35, 40 times. And it was a pretty popular, successful, award-winning production of El Salvador. And he had seen it so many times, and he finally, when I walked in, he brought me in for this thing, and he said, this is the guy. He said to Glenn and Jim Wong, you have to hire this guy for this. So he was really in my corner. And,
Okay.
Randy passed a few years back, and here I am dishonoring his memory by, I mean, it's gone, man. His last name is just gone. Anyway, I'll think of it before we quit.
Randy, rest in peace wherever you are. He hasn't forgotten you.
Randy, rest in peace, and I love you, man.
So for you, like, what was that experience playing that character, and what was your approach in the sense into playing that character?
Again, it was just, man, I'm a Marine in space. I'm a commanding officer of these young hotshot, eye candy jet pilots. So I just had to sort of, make believe that I was a Marine in space, and that was basically it, man. It was gas.
Well, I think that's for you. I mean, honestly, the beauty and as I said, you have been an icon, an inspiration for me, and for so many people. Number one, who have stepped into this business, because when I watch you, it's very similar to our mutual friend Kiefer Sutherland, in the sense of when I see him on set, this presence, this commanding presence of a leader, of a person that knows exactly how to hit every single point at every moment, and sees, it's almost like a quarterback seeing a complete field and knowing, okay, the wide receiver's over here and this person's over there, and hitting every single mark. And I think for you, like, where did you, I guess you would say, where did you find or say for yourself, or even in retrospect, like, being a person that has taken on these roles and has this sort of commanding presence to be so believable as a leader? Where did that come from?
No idea, man. Honestly, when we talk about this kind of thing, I always think of the quote, the Alan Watts quote, trying to define yourself is like chewing your own teeth.
Okay.
And so when we talk about why we're cast as certain things as actors, and why we come across as certain things, it's just impossible for me to even speculate as to how that works. I mean, you know it when it's happening, because you get typecast as certain things, and you try to break that mold because they think of you as a certain thing, and you can't do anything else. And so you grow your hair long, and you grow a beard, and you do the bad guys for a while, and you think, oh, Matt's going to look different than that thing I did in CTU on 24. So you can mix it up a little bit. But enough about me. Speaking of, you mentioned Kiefer and his focus and concentration, and that's really what it is, man. He just it's kind of superhuman, actually. And when you get that energy and you work with that same energy, because I feel that I can concentrate to the same level. So we met in that moment, and I think there's a mutual admiration, and you kind of see it when we're working together as Jack and Bill too, I think.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, the beauty to me, like, when I look at the Bill Buchanan character, and what, at the time when you came on the show, and where Kiefer's character as Jack was in that time space, it was like I couldn't picture, and I think the fans, in the sense, number one, who are fans of the show, could be nobody else that could have played that role better than you, just because of the fact that it was almost like, it didn't feel like, okay, CTU director to agent. It felt like almost like a father and son, where you've got the old lion who has gone through. Am I breaking up here?
You're back.
Okay.
You hear me okay?
A little bit. You're just, hold on a second. I think you're cutting out a little bit. Guys, can you hear us correctly? If you can, please drop a thumbs up below.
I might need to change out my earbuds here. Anyway, yeah, continue with your.
Yeah, I was saying is that like there was almost like a father and son dynamic where you have this person like where Bill Buchanan to me is a guy who has seen it all. He has been through it all, and Jack necessarily not having that person, I guess you would say that because he was always used to being the guy that called the shots. And Bill had this way, I think, of being assertive and being firm and being tough, where he wasn't going to be pushed around or manipulated or you know or even the sense fall into the false sense. When it made sense, he let Jack do his thing. When it didn't make sense, he was like, okay, I'm still gonna let you do your thing, but you're gonna have to prove to me the decisions that you're making are the right decisions. And I feel for you, like when you as an actor are able to come into the way that you came into the show, and the show had already been developed and already had that machine already going, and to me to flow in there the way that you did. I mean, what was for yourself like when you landed that role? Like, how did that come about, and what was the process? Because I know how tough the process for 24 casting is.
Yeah, I mean, I was just flying by the seat of my pants, man. It was, I've said this before. It was like joining a train that was moving at a pretty good clip, and they didn't really slow down for you. You just sort of had to run along and jump in, and not knowing the show that well when I joined anyway. I mean, I'd seen some episodes, I'd seen one before I auditioned, and then, but I think that the thing that occurred to me while you were asking me that was, the format of the show, the real-time format, the in-the-moment urgency of battling the clock and doing all that stuff, that sort of superseded everything. So you really didn't have time to think about, and it was all being revealed to me personally as an actor.
Okay.
Moment to moment anyway. I mean, my past story with characters, or what I was capable of doing, or where I came from. I mean, that was all just being revealed to me. I didn't have a lot to go on, so I just had to be open. And I think that's really what I'm saying, is that you just have to go into that sort of experience with a beginner's mind,
So when you get presented with a role, especially like a role like 24, what attracted you to this character? What attracted you to playing this character?
Well, that's what I mean. I mean, I had no idea. I had no idea where I was coming from. I mean, I knew what the script said. I mean, I knew what you saw.
Okay.
I didn't know anything other than that, man. I knew that I came from division, and that I was coming in, and I was briefed, on the way over, that Jack had been taken hostage and that I was going to help them get him back. But everything else just happened spontaneously. And so my job was to be as open to whatever was coming at me. I mean, in every context.
Do you feel that because, as you say, the 24 clock, the instant, trying to catch up with, and get everything done in a short period of time, do you feel that your theater background played a major, reason in the sense of why? No?
No.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
no, I think it was something else. I think it was more my I don't know if anything else, it was like I said, my ability to just go with the flow, man. I think it was probably my yoga practice more than anything. Because
we're going to talk about your yoga too. Okay.
No, go on. Seriously, because I didn't have I didn't know anything when I joined the show. Okay. I knew that it was a great show, and I knew that it was that it was going to be a great gig.